emotionally, mentally, every possible way. So I came to the Ihata Shelter. Okay, my first encounter with Quran husband was in Portsmouth prison actually. So I spoke to the chaplain there and I told him, you know what, actually I can't get released on parole because my parents wouldn't sign for my mom wouldn't sign for me. And I had nowhere to go with my son and then he arranged for Quran husband to come and interview me at Portsmouth prison. She came to Portsmouth prison and she interviewed me and being the and I don't know if I can say this on air, but being the skibenga that I was at that time, because I was full of trouble, full of nonsense, full of what you would call too much. I spun a story and she saw right through it actually. Then my mom.
So she knew that you were just like,
I was busy just telling her whatever she wanted to hear, just so I could secure present.
Okay, okay.
Then I eventually I came out on parole because my mom had signed for me without my brother knowing. And I came out and, lo and behold, I started smoking again. I started my nonsense again, shoplifting was my thing. And I was outside for 6 months.
Okay.
And I phoned her and I said, Diran, I don't know if you remember me. You interviewed me in Paul's for president. She's like, calm down, ik wacht vir jou.
Oh, okay.
And then at that stage, my brother had been hurtful because I wasn't listening to anybody. I was just going back into the cycle of doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And, like with the life of an addict, it's not only the addict who goes through addiction, it's the family who suffers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So your family has much to love you. They reach a point where they say, you know what, enough is actually enough. And my brother is Babuta. He is a strong believer in self-love.
Yeah.
So we packed up and he dropped me at the Ihata Shelter and I came here. And for the first 2 weeks, I went to the Rand's office every day and I threw a tantrum and I told him, you know what, actually, should come to everything, but I'm leaving. And then I would still just be here the next day. Then at the end of the 2 weeks, I went and I said, you know what, actually, I'm leaving today. And she said, no problem, I'll open the gate for you, but you're leaving your child here.
So wait, so she says, if you want to go, skibenga.
Go.
Yeah, but we're keeping your child. Okay.
And I looked at her and I thought to myself, okay, so what now?
And your child is now what? How old?
He's now 8 years old. He's actually, yeah.
No, at the time, so how old was he?
He was a year and 2 months.
At that time?
Yes.
Okay.
So I looked at her and I thought to myself, okay, so well, that was unexpected. And then I went to the back and I sat and I cried and I thought, no, what now? How now? And I thought to myself, actually, I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna, met plat maak soos 'n menorah en ek gaan maar nie doen wat ek moet doen om I didn't get one warning or what they call a loud letter. Not one. This year I was clean for 7 years in April.
Oh, mashallah.
I haven't really offended. I actually became a staff in that theater. My first job at theater was cleaning the staff toilet. And I became the driver, and then I worked for theater for 4 years. And then I no longer work here, but I'm still here every day because theater became my home. Auntie Nuran, Auntie Kuli, everybody here became my family. So even though I'm no longer working here, I'm no longer staying here, I live just up the road.
Okay.
Every morning is still my stop, and that's why I'm here this morning. When I come from work, it's still my stop before I go home. It's I have a lot that I owe here. I wouldn't know what I know, and I wouldn't be where I am, and I wouldn't be the person I am if I hadn't come to Ihata. I would probably have been in Portsmouth prison. My child would have been in the system. I would still have been an addict. But alhamdulillah, with Anti's help, everything.
Alhamdulillah. Now I think Nuran is like a Florence Nightingale to the community. Yeah. Whenever you speak to her, it's always about how can I help. And I want you. I've got about 3 or 4 more minutes before I need to wrap up the spot, but I want you to talk to us, Lady SA, about when you speak about your journey. It is obviously a journey of education, so you get to share that, right? But I also see that you become emotional when you speak about your journey and how you tie that in with the Ihata Shelter. Why is that?
Because you know what, at Ihata I came to learn not only how to love sincerely, but how to accept love as well. How to love myself, how to give without expecting in return. How to I was my whole life I've been a very selfish person. You know, what's mine is mine. I'm not going to share with anybody. But at the end, I came to learn about food distribution, about community work, about doing without expecting. Um, where my faith was strengthened here, and Nana has taught me that you know what, no matter what, Allah will always provide for you as long as you do good. Um, here I learned right from wrong to this day. It's like I'll be in a situation or in a predicament and I'll ask myself, "So what's the right thing to do here?" And you know what? Even if the right thing goes against other people around me, it's okay because that's what I believe is right. Yeah. So as long as Allah knows that I'm doing what I see as intentionally right, everything is fine. And all those lessons I've learned from Panjimuran and from the Ihata Shelter.
Now, if you, and this is very interesting because I mean, obviously, first of all, thank you for popping in and thank you for sharing your story, right? And I need you to help us because we brought some liquor coffee and some corn in a cup. And so I want you to help us distribute that to the ladies and let them come. Okay, can you do that for me?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, no, Lachey will direct it for you. But I think what is also important is that Allah places you in certain situations at certain parts in your life. You're raising a son. He's 8 years old now, right? And he basically came into the world at a time where even you felt that this was just wrong. It shouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? But think about it this way: he came in, yeah, he came into your life with that child, seeing the upbringing and the challenges, and you now involving your 8-year-old to know what the Ihata is about, to come and see what the Ihata is about. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie to you. When we came to Ihata Shelter, he was so small and he used to draw a lot. Okay, I didn't know he had a problem with his ears at that time.
Yeah.
So Auntie Kuli will always tell you that you would go to the back and you would sit on the washing lines, all a whole washing line full of this multicolored bulbs and he had this green tracksuit pants and the yellow tracksuit pants and we, when we got to the shelter he couldn't even speak properly yet. So Auntie Kuli would shout eating time and he would shout like Atta, Atta, he couldn't speak properly yet. Now he's in grade 2 coming to the shelter every day doing homework, playing soccer. So
it's like a safe space for him as well. Subhanallah, that is such a great story. So if you were to, here's the other thing. What I've picked up with our discussion is that you were very open to admit your fault. You admitted this was my challenge, this was my issue, and this is how I fixed it. And so many times, I mean, 10 years later, 8 years later, things have changed. You now see women and even men for that matter, they don't acknowledge their fault. And so that is obviously to move forward, that's the first thing you need to do. But there are women who are sitting and wondering, who is there to help me? What is it that I can do? There's nobody to help me to do anything of the sort. What advice would you give to women?
To women, I would say, you know what, your power is your own, your strength is your own. And the minute you can say that, you know what, I'm in this predicament not because, like for example, I used to say, no, I smoke drugs because hi, my daddy died 15 years ago. No, I smoke drugs because I was raped. I smoke drugs because of this. I smoke drugs because of that. I smoke drugs because I chose to. Yeah. I chose to be on drugs. So the minute you can say, you know what, so I am in this predicament because okay, let me see, I did this, I did that, or what am I doing wrong? The minute you can identify where your faults lie, you can start fixing and working on it. And you know what? There's always help. Yeah. All you need to do is take your pride, throw it out the window. I'm not going to say the other word. Throw it out the window and say, you know what? I need help. Can you help me? That's all you need to do. And when I'm moving,
and the doors are never closed, yeah.
No. Yeah. Never. And when I came to the shelter, it's like me live in a shelter. I would. Oh no, me. No, this is beneath me.
Yeah.
You need to.
But I must be honest, when I came in here, I was like, wait, is this a shelter? Yeah, because it really feels just like an organization that you come into. It doesn't feel like a shelter that we would define as a shelter. You know what I mean? So thank you very much, Lady SA, for coming to share your story. I appreciate it. I'm going to ask you to show Lachey around just to see where they are setting up so that we can start giving to the ladies and stuff. And we really appreciate it. Shukran so much for coming in and all of the very best. May Allah open many doors for you. Amen. Afwan. Well, time now moving on to 7:32 here on BSC Breakfast. The MEC for Police Oversight and Community Safety, Regan Allen, has also just arrived. We're going to bring him in on air to come and talk to us. But before we do anything else, I think it's important that we're going to see if there's nothing happening on the road. So let's do that. Kom ons kyk wat gebeur nou op die paaie hier in die Weskaap. Let's start off with some misty conditions, of course. In fact, I was stuck in those misty conditions on the N2 as I made my way into the Ihata Shelter this morning. So let's just see what's going on here. Between Baden-Powell and Lisbik, you must maintain a safe following distance. In fact, I'd suggest that you switch on your, not your headlights, your hazards as you drive. Then also miss the conditions between the R300, between the N1 and Stock Road. Please just be careful, as well as roadworks reported on the N2 inbound of the Smuts Drive. All lanes are open. You can expect some free-flowing traffic, but remember, of course, to please just keep on your hazards. I just want to also say, do not switch on your brights. It makes things worse. So rather drive with your hazards as opposed to, switching on your brights. Let's go for some commercial news quickly, and then when we come back, we'll continue. Don't go away. Fiber on Voice of the Cape, 91.3 FM. Assalamu alaikum, Goolam. What is the name and address of the shelter? We did the interview. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say it is the Ihata Shelter for abused women and children. So just put it into your Google Maps. You'll be able to come there. I don't necessarily want to broadcast the address, broad and wide for obvious reasons. That is why we didn't also extend the invitation for people to come and join us, because if we had to, we'd have probably had 100,000 people standing outside. So for that reason, we want you to obviously, if you need any information, call the Voice of the Cape officers. They'll put you in contact with Nuran and everybody else. Some voice notes that also came through. We will play that one in quickly. Nazim, if we can just sort this one out. There were some comments that came through on 0829 913 913. Then also I need to tell you about that protest march that is happening today also out in the CBD. And that is, of course, with regards to the grade R learners. They are having issues with the WCD. Remember, we spoke about this before. Not going to get too much into it though. I'm going to try and link up also with Nuran Osman a little bit later. But first, let's take a listen to this voice note that came in.
Assalamu alaikum, good night, and the breakfast team. I just want to congratulate this lady, who's on A Goolam. I must say, as proud as you are about yourself, I'm also a mother who said, sons in that position that you were. Alhamdulillah, Allah help to you while you are, and this is now for me to continue believing that Allah can make a change in every child's life. Alhamdulillah, and to Ran, who's a counselor, a mentor. Shukran ala Quran for many more years to help others. And ala Quran, you must respect the very best in the future. As you say, we're looking forward to be with your son, Alhamdulillah. Shukran to the breakfast team for having this lady on, and I hope there's other ladies that is still in the position can hear her and follow her footsteps. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Shukran so much for that message and for the kind words as well. So what I'm going to do is, there are many people that's asking for the contact details for Nuran Osman. She can be contacted on 083 7122 703. That's 083 7122 703. We'll give you the details as we go along. Now, talking about Nuran Osman, and she's obviously, out of town. So we are doing a video call with her in the hope that things will work out between all of us here, and I hope that she'll be able to hear me as well. And we want to try and get to her comment quickly while she's somewhere other than here at the Ihata Shelter. Nuran, can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. I can hear you clearly.
Nuran, you know what? We spoke to some of the, at least to a former resident here. We called the lady SA because we didn't want her to give out her name and stuff like that. I don't know if you actually saw. I'm going to show you a little bit later all the things that came through, for the Ihata Shelter. But just, comments from your side quickly. I know it was a mission to arrange this broadcast with you as well. Although you said yes, just at the offset.
Yes, Goolam. No, I mean, the mission part is that I'm not in Cape Town. My mother's so gracious. She arranged for our whole family to be away at this time. But I know that I have people like Shyam and Leila to count on. I think Leila's on her way. She also had to attend another event last night where, mashallah, an organization contributed 33,000 Rand. So it goes a long way when even one bar of soap means so much to the women in the shelter. So, for example, the women who come in, and you'll meet some of them shortly, come with nothing. So when you're able to give them a brand new bar of soap, it means the world to them. So before anything, let me say a huge shukran to you and the team.
Afwan, it's only a pleasure. Nuran, you know what? I think Shyam actually, she put a lot of things into context because, when you hear about the shelter, there's a certain stigma that's attached to it. But she also explained the tough love that Auntie Nuran gave her, And I think that all of them shares the same sentiment. I mean, even when you walk in here, you don't walk into a shelter, you walk into a home.
Yes, alhamdulillah, we do try and create, and I hope inshallah soon you'll be able to see our old age homes. But we do try and create happy spaces for our beneficiaries because they live there. It's not an institution, they live there. It's their home. We encourage them to embrace the home for the period that they are there. And when they leave, as Shyam said, they're always welcome. They come back and they bring their children, and if their children need aftercare, they come. Shyam loves Auntie Kuli's porridge. Auntie Kuli makes millipap like no one else. And so after she left the shelter, she started working externally and pursuing her career dreams. She asked if she's allowed to just pop in and out. I said, just come whenever you want to. One of our ex-clients phoned me last night. She said, I'm clean for 11 years. I'm free from abuse for 11 years because of you. Can I come visit Auntie Kuli on Women's Day because it's the only day I'm off work? And we say, of course, you're supposed to come back. But also, a lot of women go back to abusive relationships and then come back to the shelter and ask for a place to stay. And that's okay. They're always welcome.
No, absolutely. Nuran, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for a break, but I want you to keep your phone on because you can only start swimming after 9 o'clock anyway, wherever you are. So I'd like to do a final link up with you just before 9 o'clock, inshallah.
That's fine. Shukran, Goolam.
Shukran so much, Nuran Osman, the director of the Ihata Shelter for Abused Women and Children. We are broadcasting to you live. And you know what I actually love about technology? Well, that while she wasn't able to join us in the presence, in the flesh, we were able to just pick up the phone and say like, okay, we're going to be doing a link up with you quickly. And yeah, so MEC for Police Oversight and Community Safety Regan Allen, when we met him about 2 weeks ago, he was just about to get into his 100 days of office, and that happened last week. So he's here. We're going to bring him in. We're going to try and have a word with him as well, because one of the challenges that the Ihata Shelter for abused women and children face is that when Iran gets called in the middle of the night, to assist some victim of abuse, women of abuse. Then she has to call on members like SAP. She's got to call on the neighborhood watch. She's got to call on, law enforcement to come out, to go with her, to go and fetch that abused woman. And we want to see how the MEC can strengthen that connection between, for example, his department and the Ihata Shelter. We need to look at also integrative departments, like the Department of Social Development, that of MEC Shana Fernandez, the MEC Regan Allen, and so forth. It's important that we get to do that. So that is what we're going to do. We will speak to the MEC around 8 o'clock this morning, inshallah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the opportunity for you to talk to us on 0829 913 913. So somebody wants to know, Goolam, do you perhaps know why why the electricity is out in Grassy Park since 12-ish already? In that case, I can tell you that load shedding has been suspended, though, 8117. However, if you are experiencing some issues with Eskom and so forth, it could possibly mean that there has been a power outage, or the electricity cables or whatever has been stolen, or the electricity box has been damaged, for whatever. Whoever your electricity supply is, for example, if it is the city of Cape Town, then try and get hold of them so that they can come out and come and assist you guys. However, I can tell you it is a public holiday, so good luck. Good luck with getting hold of the city this morning. But you never know, maybe your ward councillor would be able to pull a string or two to be able to assist you a little bit quicker, inshallah. Right, so 0829 913 913. I see there are many messages that came through in terms of voice notes and stuff for your greeting of this morning. Unfortunately, we couldn't get into all of that this morning, but inshallah, we will see how we can squeeze in more of your comments. I'd like to, and so one of the listeners actually shared her story with us via a voice note. I would like to encourage you to do the same. Share your story with us. Let's celebrate our women. And if I had a choice, I would have actually played Whitney Houston, I'm Every Woman, on air right now. But it's also the 10th of Muharram, so we want to obviously keep in line with all of that as well. So 7:45 it is here on VSC Breakfast 91.3 FM. This one wants to know, Assalamu alaikum, Goolam, can you please give us the contact details for Ihata Shelter? I have shared that with you, but I'm going to ask our social media guys to also share that on our social media feeds where we are right now, so that you're able to get hold of Nuran Osman. She can be reached on 083 7122 703. That's 083 7122 703, and she would be able to assist you or direct you or provide you with all the necessary information that you may need, inshallah. Right, 0829 913 913. This one says, Assalamu alaikum, Goolam. Could you please ask the lady if she thinks that the culture of promiscuity that's promoted via media, television films, had a great influence in the decisions that she made in her life? 4464, I just got this message. I would have loved to ask her that, but I think she alluded to it somewhat, where she spoke about, people making excuses for their behavior. I smoked drugs because my father, and she says, for example, my father had passed on 15 years ago. I smoked the buttons. I used to do all of these things. But she says, you know what, those are not excuses. So I think it kind of ties in when you talk about, the influence that media or television or films have on your life, because it's not in every movie or film where you get to see, the promiscuity that you're talking about. And she was very, blatant about the fact, and I'm using the word blatant deliberately, because she said it is a decision that you make as an individual. Yeah? Think about that again. She says it's a decision that you make as an individual. You are smoking buttons because you want to smoke buttons, nobody else. So I kind of like her attitude, her positivity, that she had around her story, and she wasn't shy to share her story. And I'm asking you as well, when we look at women, do we have the right to celebrate Women's Day? Let us understand quickly where Women's Day all come from. We all know that, right? But if you were to look into the society of today, are we as a people ready to celebrate Women's Day? Because if that is the case, you hear the cliche, Women's Day is every day, da 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 da, right? But if that is the case, then why is it that we are still being saddled with GBV? Why do we have to have programs like a 16 days of activism, um, against abuse for women and children? Why do we still have to go through this? You and I both know we can sit here with a mond vol tande, we can be oblivious, but you and I both know of people, of women that are still being abused and they've got no way out. Or at least they feel that they have got no way out. 7287, you're asking a very interesting point, and I think if I were to ask Nuran this question, she would take a great offense to asking this question. Not because you're asking the question, but because of what the Ihata Shelter stands for. And you're saying, Salaam alaikum, Goolam, what a mashallah story. Give me more contact details, please. And do they only take in Muslim women? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This Ihata Shelter is open for the entire community. It gets run on an Islamic ethos, but it's there for everyone. So I'm going to open up the lines. 0829 913 913. Only for this part of the show. Let me see. Buta Ishmael, Assalamu alaikum. I can't escape you, eh?
Assalamu alaikum, Goolam. How are you?
I'm well, alhamdulillah. How are you, Buta Ishmael?
Tell me, how's Lukman? Is he okay? Or is he off?
But Ishmael, like I've explained yesterday, Lukman and the contractual agreement between Lukman and the Voice of the Cape has concluded last week. So he's no longer part of the show. But your comment, But Ishmael?
Yes, my comment is about the woman, Goolam. We live in a society where promiscuity is the ultimate goal that's been promoted via the media, via the cinema, via all this. That is a great influence on our women. And it's unfortunate that because we are followers, that we don't question these programs. We just accept it. That is what life is all about. So our ladies make a decision that goes with the promiscuity life. This way of life. And that's where the fault lies, Goolam. It's the values that's been inculcated into our society, especially against the family life. The family life is a kernel of society. It's a kernel of everything in the family, but it's being destroyed by people who has agendas. It's people must do their investigation. I'm just bringing this to the fore that I came across, and it's just issues that must be addressed. What type of education is our children getting now? They're getting sex education for what? A child of 5, 6, 7, 8 must get sex education for what? This is the type of promiscuity that's been inculcated in our society against the family.
Okay.
And this is the question that we got to ask.
Okay, Shukran Bata Ishmael. You know what? You actually make a valid point with regards to the education that we are talking about. It's important that we do so because, just a point of correction though, it wasn't called sex education per se, Bata Ishmael. It was an inculcation of, or the inclusion of sex education and how it is, but there was this whole issue around how that is being delivered. And until we understand how that curriculum is being delivered, that was the concern at the very beginning. It wasn't about, because the thing is, what do you expect, Bata Ishmael? Our parents, we as parents, we don't have these conversations with our kids. And if we do, how much information do we give? So the schools are saying, let us then educate our children about it. But the parents felt like that is something, or a conversation that needs to happen, at home. So we're moving now a little bit closer to 8 o'clock. It's a minute to 8 o'clock. I want to speak to Maulana Shafiq Nolan, who is, I think, from Ashraful Aid. Yeah, so we're going to ask Maulana just to kind of explain to us very quickly what it is that they do before we go for a break. Maulana, assalamu alaikum, and shukran so much for coming out.
Bismillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah, my absolute pleasure, mashallah. Shukran so much. So we are Ashraful Aid. I'm representing Ashraful Aid International, humanitarian organization. And we came to learn about the Ihata group, and it's not only for the abused women shelter and so on and so forth. They also have the frame care and the old age home, subhanAllah. So when I heard that, mashallah, already VOC is going to be, I said, no, I need to be part of this, and I need to also make my particular contribution from Ashraful Aid side, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So mashallah, we came also with our donation from Ashraful Aid to the particular shelter, mashallah, in collaboration with VOC.
Nice.
When I heard no VOC is going to be there, no, we have to be there, mashallah. We are also having a commitment with the from Ashraful Aid side, from with regards to the old age home and the friend care. And inshallah, we are hoping to make contribution with regards to adult diapers, Goolam. So this is something years. So it is something that they use every day, at the film care, and there is a shortage thereof. So Alhamdulillah, Ashraful Aid learned about this and thought, no, we have to step in, and we know about the great work that they are doing. So Alhamdulillah, it is our absolute pleasure, mashallah, to be here and to be part of this particular handover at this particular shelter. And we would like to encourage the communities, to always acknowledge, and not only acknowledge, but to contribute to these particular institutions. And like we heard, it's not an institution, it's their home, it's their residence home.
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
Now, alhamdulillah, and Malana, I think, it is so grateful to be able to see that, that we get to expand our services. That some people look at it, it's just a radio station, this is all what we do. But it extends beyond that. We won't be able to do it every day, but it's something, because, we're a media home, and I've always been saying this, people call us on a daily, Goolam, can you help with this? Sheikh, and I always say we'd love to help, but we are a media house, so we don't necessarily have the sanitary packs or the adult diapers or the, whatever we have available. But when we do initiatives like this, don't you become overwhelmed when you see all the support that we get from our listeners, Maulana?
Most definitely, subhanAllah. When we see that, even when we made our way here, how the listeners called in and said, look, we want to be part of this. So we want to congratulate also VOC, mashallah, for being not only that the vehicle of information, but also the vehicle of assistance and humanitarian help where it is needed. Shukran so very much for having Ashraful Aid also with you on this particular project. And I'm very positive that in the future we will be having a good particular, collaboration with more such community services and assistance.
Inshallah. Now I'm going to give you quickly, Maulana, just a couple of seconds quickly. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you guys, how do they do that?
Okay, the most easiest is to go online, www.ashrafulaid.org, and you will find Ashraful Aid there, and how you can get involved with the many international as well as local, activities and projects that are being carried on. We have the recent Afghanistan, that our teams went into Afghanistan to go and see to the orphans down there, and also to assist the many boreholes that are being, dug throughout the country as well as internationally as well, and the various local projects, national projects. And Alhamdulillah, if you want to be a part of that, go onto the website and you'll find how you can contribute to Ashraful Aid.
There we go. Shukran so much, Maulana Shafiq Nolan, talking to us about their contribution and the work that they do with Ashraful Aid. Now, the lines open, 0829 913 913. You can email me, gulam@vocfm.co.za. We are broadcasting to you live from the Ihata Shelter here out in Welcome Estate, where we obviously celebrating our women. Now, my next guest I'm going to bring on after 8 o'clock. His name is Dr. Sheikh Munir Abdurauf, and of course we're going to be talking to Sheikh to talk to us about, we know about this new law that came in with regards to the Constitutional Court, and what does this mean for the Muslim women. Now, we've spoken to Sheikh about this before, but I'm going to ask Sheikh to come in after 8 o'clock with me. Let's just go for news quickly, Sheikh, and then when we come back, we will bring Sheikh in to share comment on this, because it's important that we get to educate our women. Now, I received a message quickly from, let me just see quickly, 7287. 7287, gathering from your message that you sent me, I'm going to assume that you perhaps need assistance. If you do need assistance, 7287, reply to me quickly on the WhatsApp line, and I will gladly forward your details to Nuran, who is the director of the Ihata Shelter. So what I'm going to do is, we're going to go for some traffic quickly. When we come back, The traffic is going to take us to our news at the top of the hour. So, Mr. Morris, let's go for traffic, and then when we come back, we'll continue. Conditions reported between Baden Powell and Lisbeth Parkway. If you're traveling on the N2, please maintain that safe following distance. Then also on the R300 between the N1 and Stock Road, maintain a safe following distance there as well. Roadworks into inbound after Jan Smuts. All lanes are open, as well as on the ramp closure. There's a ramp closure at least on the into inbound at Robert Sobukwe. The ramp has been reopened. In fact, I came through that area as well. Please do not speed when you get onto that ramp because the roads are very, very narrow because of some barricades that have been put in the road due to some roadworks over there. If you have anything to report, please let us know on 0829 913 913. 2 minutes to 8 o'clock. That takes us closer to the news at the top of the hour.